We want to go now to Kiev, a city that has been besieged with protesters for 4 weeks now. They've been demonstrating in very cold weather against the president for refusing to sign a trade pact with Europe, a move that would have signaled a desire to put distance between Ukraine and Moscow. Senator John McCain is in Kiev and joins us now. Senator, you actually went out and talked to the protesters this morning and urged them to keep pushing for closer ties with the West. Why do you think this is important enough to U.S. interests to go to Kiev this morning?
I think, Bob, that there's no doubt about the strategic and geographic and every other aspect of Ukraine. It's a large country. It's a cultured country. It's the beginning of Russia, which a lot of people don't know. And what's happening here is not only a desire to be part of the European Union, which makes them look to the West and not be coerced into the customs union that the Russians and Putin are trying to push them into, but they're tired of corruption, they're tired of a bad economy because of that, and they really want change, and that change is epitomized by a turning to Europe and a relationship with Europe that they think will benefit them in their lives.
Are you concerned that this could make tensions between Putin and the United States worse?
Well, I think it may, but I also know that we have a long tradition of standing up for people that are freely and peacefully demonstrating, and they have been peaceful. They were attacked for a while by the police, which didn't succeed. But I think the other aspect of this is that this is a country that's in really bad economic shape, and they need an IMF loan, and they need assistance, and if they turn back to Russia, I think that the consequences that they believe would happen would be rather serious. By the way, there's several 100,000 people, I've heard estimates between 200,000 and 500,000, that you can hear in the background here, and I'm telling you, it's cold here.
We have seen scenes all week. Some of these look like scenes from the movie Les Miserables out there in the streets of Kiev. I know you think you're bulletproof, but do you feel safe there, Senator?
I always feel safe, Bob. I told you in the past, I know that I'm going to die, but it's only going to be in bed.
All right. Senator, this morning, our Liz Palmer, got an exclusive interview with Mohammad Zarif, who is the foreign minister, as you know, of Iran. He told us he felt blindsided when there was talk of putting more sanctions on Iran, but he told her that Iran is going to stay and keep taking part in these arms control talks. In light of that, do you think the Senate should put some sanctions, new sanctions on Iran that would go into effect if these talks fail, say 6 months from now?
I think so, Bob. I think, and as you mentioned, the operative is 6 months. We were briefed that within 6 months they would be able to finish this interim agreement into a final agreement. And I think it's probably an appropriate thing because many of us are very skeptical about the conditions under which this pause is being undertaken. The centrifuges still spin. There is still work can be done at a place called R-Ariz. There is, most importantly to us, implicit in this agreement is the Iranian right to enrich. We don't think that should be the case of a country that has lied, has cheated, has concealed from the IAEA and every other organization. This Rouhani bragged about the fact how he deceived the negotiators when he was the negotiator. So we just believe that I believe they have forfeited their right, quote, right to enrich. And so there is the scenario, if you were the Iranians, just keep dragging out these negotiations, drag them out. Meanwhile, the centrifuges still spin, and they progress towards this point where all it takes is a turn of a wrench, and they have a nuclear weapon.
Senator, speaking of negotiations and difficult things, the Senate is going to vote this week on the 2-year bipartisan budget plan. Are you going to support it?
I am, Bob. I think it's important that we have this agreement. As you know, I'm particularly sensitive about the military. I've talked to our military leaders. They say they badly need this relief. I wish this provision was not in there that concerns the military retirement issue. Senator Levin, the chairman of the Armed Services Committee, has assured me and others we will take up this issue in the next year's authorization bill. It doesn't kick in till a year later, until 2015, and I wish it wasn't there. But honestly, the devastation to our national security, ask any of our military leaders, I know you have, that's being inflicted by this sequestration as it is so harmful. And as we have found out, as we just saw in North Korea, that the world is getting more and more dangerous.
Senator, I want to thank you for joining us this morning. Now, be safe, and next thing you should do is go inside and get warm.